Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Engine House. It has been kind of crazy busy around here. We're coming into real spring now, and I've had a minute here and a minute there, not enough time to really shoot a video, and I was waiting for some bits and pieces to come in to finish some of this stuff up. I've got benches here, and I've been painting them. Now, the night you're not going to see a lot of these, so I haven't been putting a whole lot into these. And then we've got the tables, and I'm just painting the top because that's pretty much all you're going to see. I'll show you here in a minute what we're doing here and why. And then I bought a bunch of seated people, and these are not the higher quality stuff here that you can find. These are, they're going to be inside here. You're not going to see them. They're not very well detailed. So I didn't buy top of the line figures here. I just bought the cheap ones because you're just going to be seeing them through the window. Now, one of the problems I found in this, which isn't really a problem, but if you have this kit, this is the diner kit. If you have this kit and you're wanting to detail it, you're going to need to add a floor, a thick floor, and we'll show that here in a minute. But just for a second here, I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. I started putting some people in here. I started doing this, and then I realized it was too low. You couldn't really see the people in there. So hang on one second here, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. Okay, you really cannot see the people in there. You can just barely see a figure there at a table. And if I go this way, you can see another one there. You can just barely see them. And since I've got this thing in my hand, I'll show you what I've been doing here. Anyway, here we are. When I started this, made this sign here, I realized I'd made it a little too tall. So I added the lobster here. And of course, this is a little weathering, some rust. The light has got some rust on it. You can see the lobster. My backstory on this is one time, this was a takeout restaurant for seafood. You'll find them a lot of little places along the coast that'll have, or used to have, little takeout and a diner and whatnot. So, I decided I'd leave the lobster. And of course, when the new owner took over, they just replaced this top part of the sign. Anyway, you're going to hear the dogs in the background a little bit. Here we have some more detail parts going on here. I've got air conditioner on the roof here and a bigger one here. And then, of course, we've got this back end here is mostly where a lot of the main cooking happens. There's a grill that would be here, and that's why the dirt and the grease and stuff coming out there. This is another, of course, vent here for a stove or an oven over here, and that's why all the dirt. And of course, as you can tell, nobody ever cleans the window here. So this is what we're looking at here. This, by the way, this is bits and pieces of the apartment building that I use some other parts for over here. There is Green Pastures Dairy Milk Processing Plant. I have some work still, you can tell, to do on that. There's a lot of stuff left going on here. But I was waiting for parts for this. So anyway, this is what it looks like. Now, let me show you what I've done here. Let me pause this again. Okay, so because I found out, like I said, it's too low, you cannot see the figures. I took a piece of basswood and I cut it to fit in here. Now, originally I have on this old piece of cardstock here. I don't know where I got it. And yes, you can see this bench is a little offset from the others. It's because of this piece in here. You can see this little indent here, okay, where the building snapped together. I couldn't get the seat up against the wall like it should have been. Now, if you were going to be able to see all the interior, that would be a problem. But because you're not going to be seeing much of the interior, you just want to see some of the people in there. So we put that down in there, and now I can lift this up. And now you can see the people in there a little better. Now, I'm not going to have this lit. My son was telling me, Dad, you should have some lighting in there. And if I were doing HO, or I were doing a more modern O with a modern transformer, I would probably do some lighting, but that's a lot more wiring. There's diodes involved. There's a lot of soldering. There's a lot of stuff that's just, I'd rather focus on doing buildings and landscaping. That's what I enjoy the most. Lighting to me is, I don't intend to run the thing at night, so I really don't care to have lights going all the time. I know I could do it with the old transformer if I really wanted to. I just really don't have the desire to do it. So this is with the roof on, and again, you can just see them in there. It lifts them up so the table is just below the window now and not way down here. So you're lifting them up about 1/4 of an inch, which is just enough. I could go a little bit higher probably if I wanted to, but I don't see the need. I did notice, though, putting this together, is you can see the back of the bench right there. I am going to have to paint that. Originally when I did it, I wasn't painting the backs because you're not going to see them. This is, by the way, what the benches look like when you get them. There's bench and table set here. They come white like this. And then, of course, I hit them with some spray primer. And I started painting the cushions and the backs. So we're getting there, and I will be painting that. So the other thing is, as I was saying, is the people. These are not some of these Woodland Scenics, a few others have people, dock workers and whatnot, that are really, really detailed. These are just cheap, quick, easy. And Amarok decided to come up. They're not very detailed. They're not painted very well. This is something you can do because you can see she's sitting here. She's blue with a blue hat and a white purse or something there. And here's another one. Okay. So, change them up a little bit. The other thing you're going to have to do is cut off the legs. Most of your diners would have a table. Okay. Table. So I ordered, these come as a set of 2. I ordered enough tables to go all the way across here, and the benches. And what I found was that's not going to work. These are O scale. This is 1950s, what they put together in the 50s, which for a O scale diner is not too bad. But once you start putting a table in here and the benches, you start to find that they're not always going to line up with the window like you would think. You can just see that there, and you can see it in the window right here. And it just really doesn't line up well with the windows. So to get the people to sit at them, you got to cut their legs off, sadly. So what we're going to do right now, though, is we're going to take this lady right here, and we are going to see what we can do with her, and then we're going to glue her in place. I need a very small paintbrush. There we are. And give her some brown hair. Why not? And these, they have seams on them. You can see the seams where they were molded. And if they were going to be outside, I would buy a much more detailed person. I would not be buying a lot of these for outside. Let's see, what color does she? We'll do a blue, a nice blue here. We have a bright blue. Here we go. And wow, that really did not come out good. My paints have sat down in the basement for a long, long time, and some of them are really just kind of, they put up with the cold in the basement for a while. Ah, there's the problem. It developed a bit of a skin on the top, which was preventing it from, that's right, which was keeping it from pouring. Okay. This is again what happens when they sit too long. Well, I'm sitting here doing this. It is April. And of course, by the time this video posts, I will probably have done my presentation. That's coming up real soon. I've got everything ready to go. I've got 2 more things I need to do, and they're real simple things. They'll be done this weekend, and then I'll be ready for the presentation. The other thing is, again, since it is now, the weather is warming up, we've lost a lot of snow, we're starting to get decent temperatures. I'm going to be working less on the layout and more on the house. So I won't be putting out a video every week, probably maybe once a month. And I'm not going to, if I have the time, I'll go into some of the details as I go. But honestly, we have a busy, busy summer. My wife and I sat down the other day and made out a list, and yeah, it's going to take a while. We've got a lot of stuff to do. This old house needs some work. So I'll be doing that. Some of the stuff is pretty easy. It won't take me long. Others will take me a couple of weeks to finish. So that takes priority. And if I can get back into the basement and work on the layout, great. If not, I'm going to try to get up here. Like I said, I've been the last couple of weeks, it's been hit or miss. A minute here, 5 minutes there, so I've been just kind of working and not trying to shoot a video. So I'm just catching you up on what's happened so far. It's coming together quite nicely. I like it. how it's turning out so far. And we, well, let me get this. So that's the whole thing. Is I've been having fun with this. And as I've said in past videos, of course, that's the whole point. You're doing this, it should be fun. If you're getting yourself aggravated and worked up, you need to take a break, because it's no longer fun and it's just going to get you frustrated. So the point is to try, and whoever paints these figures, I think they probably do it with a machine, and the paint, obviously this woman is supposed to be wearing a white shirt, and the white paint is covering the lapel of her dress on both sides. So I am going to have to paint that. And you can, you can do a lot of work with these too. If they're background figures, again, if I were going to have these out where people could see them a lot more, I would be filing off. You can see, probably, if you look real close, you can see the seam where they were molded in these were just, you can see it right along here. There's a seam on both sides, and you could take a file and file that. Really wouldn't be that hard to do. You could leave it. Again, these are going to be the ones I'm putting in here. You're not going to see a lot of. You're going to see them through a window, and it's just because with any scene, you look, if there's no people around it or near it or in it, it just doesn't quite look right. So you want to give yourself, you're trying to build a world here, and worlds have people in them and other things that, we have trash, we have pallets, we have rotten wood, we have cats and rats and all kinds of things in a real world. And if you want to depict, if you're building your world yourself, you can do as you want. But people, at least, are a must. Whatever else you want to do is completely up to you. You can make your city. I'm going to have to paint her neck. She got a blue neck there too. I'm going to have to get some paint after that. And again, you're not going to see much of her, but if I'm going to do something here to give the illusion of, people in a real world. Hang on one second, I want to dry this. I do have most of my stuff from downstairs up here now, so I can dry things. And let's see, what colors? I don't have any pink. I wonder. let's try some buttermilk. She's going to be in a building, so we're going to just give her, she's going to have a very pale complexion. You know, there we are. The light buttermilk at a distance doesn't look too bad. Let me hit this with a dryer one more time. Okay, and for a figure inside a building, I'm going to call her done. Okay, we're going to now, and again, like I said, we've got to, because there we go. And now she's a legless woman. And you can see there, I'm not going to paint that. You're not going to see it. I'm going to set her in here. She is going to sit right here. And let's see here what I have for male figures that could. Here we are. We have, he is the similar gentleman to what is sitting across the table from the other guy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give him a brown suit. If I don't throw him on the floor and lose him. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got him painted, and now you can see, and you can see how close that bench is to that table, and there is no way there's going to be another bench without being in the way of the door. So there'll probably be a table here, and possibly I won't put the bench on the other side. And then there'll be a couple here as well. So you can see, and again, you're just going to be seeing them inside the windows as you go by. It's not like I'm super detailing this. It's just gives it a little more depth, a little more life, because it, what's with an empty diner? That wouldn't look quite right. There's going to be a parking lot. Excuse me. There's going to be a sidewalk out here in front when I'm done, and a parking lot. And of course, back here in the back, there'll be some detail work done back here. I still need a dumpster or a few trash cans or something like that for that area. But this is what we have so far. And for the time being now, I probably won't be doing a lot of videos, at least not once a week. Going to start getting back into doing the home, the remodeling that we were doing. And as I find a spare hour or something to do a video, I'll do what I can. So that's what you can modify these kits. This is, again, a 1950s diner kit. I don't think I still have the box left. And what I was using was parts of this apartment house. I used some of these parts here for the dairy processing plant. And then I took some of the rest, and like I said, I built this on the back. And it's a later edition, obviously, because it's not the silver. And again, I'm not quite done with this. This needs a little dry brushing with some black to kind of dirty it up, because, you know, it's not a, you can see the sign being rusty and old and weathered. So there'll be a lot more work happening on this. If I get a chance to shoot another video while I'm doing it, and even without lights, I mean, if you're walking by the layout, you can see people in there, and that's what you want. You want to see life. This is your world. So, and you're working with a kit from the 1950s, and you know, you're working with people and tables that are actual O scale, and you've got, you know, it's a bit of a challenge, but it's fun. It's still a lot of fun. And again, I'll try to get another couple of videos in later on as the summer goes on. I'd like to get back down into the basement and do some more landscaping on the layout itself. I have a lot to do down there still. So maybe soon, now that it's warming up, the basement is also getting warmer, and I can get back down there and not freeze. Next winter is going to be so much better with the pellet stove in the basement. I can kick that on and get down there, and I don't have to worry about, you know, putting off working on the layout itself. So I'll be splitting my time between downstairs and here, and doing what I can. Maybe next time this will be done, or I'll be working on Green Pastures Dairy. So anyway, if you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Until next time, bye for now.